Hi, all. This is Dr. J Streaming Life. I'm in Long Island, New York, where the weather is rainy and it's kind of yucky on Wall Street as well. It's been yucky for the whole year, so why should it be any different in the month of December? We have with us today single Cobb, Tim Kirk, Linus Chester, Patrick Taylor. I'm taking attendance. What can I say? It's good to see everybody here. I'm not sure about Professor Spike. I think Kamal will be joining us later. So we'll get the show started with taking a look at SPY, because that's very critical right now. It's at a juncture where it's sitting, I believe, at the 100-day moving average and falling just below the bottom half of the bottom trend line of its upward ascending channel. So, and it comes after it bounced off that downward trend line, that long-term downward trend line that everyone's talking about, as well as the 200-day. It's now below the 200-day again. So SPY is looking bearish, but maybe it's bullishly bearish, if you know what I mean. When everybody jumps on the bearish trade, look out. The market usually goes the other way and burns everyone. So who knows? I mean, right now the chart is looking pretty bearish, but let's give it a look. Tim wants to know if Athesis has a chance. Of course it has a chance. It's 2 cents pre-split that it's trading at. That's worth a flyer in my mind. I think the market cap is 10 million. It's got to be worth 50 million to big pharma or to even small pharma. I think it's an excellent buyout candidate. It certainly could go up 5 times overnight. And it's basically its behavior will now be nothing more than the behavior of a penny stock, but a penny stock with a good chance. So I like Athesis. It wasn't one of my listed biotechs that can quintuple in 2023, but I do believe it is one of them. So Athesis should be added to that list. I very much like the AD stocks. I think the Biogen, Eisai, lecanemab, whatever it's called, that'll be approved January 6th. Almost a sure thing. And that should give it all the AD stocks a shot in the arm. It is, Spike.
Hello.
Wasn't sure you were coming, so I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, I didn't even take a look at the market today.
Without you, I have to do a monologue.
Oh boy, I know.
And I'm not the Jerry Seinfeld.
Exactly.
And I'm not a Woody Allen.
What is it with this market?
I'm not an Eddie Murphy.
Right, exactly.
I'm none of the above.
This is not designed to be solo.
No, I'm not even a Tina Fey. Wrong sex for that.
Exactly.
Who's the funniest comedian, like for a stand-up comic at this point?
There's a guy named Sebastian Maniscalco who's very, very funny.
I haven't heard him.
Yeah, he's good. Some of the old favorites are still funny. I was just watching some stuff.
Chris Rock. I like Chris Rock.
Yeah, well, he's getting up there. He's got something on Netflix that's relatively recent.
Yeah, I like him. And Linus is giving me a lot of credit here. I think my clairvoyant days are over. I was really clairvoyant.
Wow, we got a lot of comments. We should go on.
I was really clairvoyant back in 2020 when I picked the bottom in March of 2020.
Right.
The very minute of the bottom on the air. My crystal ball was working then.
At that point, right?
But right now, when you look at the SPY and you look at all the bearish sentiment and you look at the fact that the chart broke down today, it's below its ascending channel. It bounced off the 200-day moving average. It bounced off the long, long, the trend line that was going down that everyone's talking about. So there's so much negative sentiment. Short the market, short the market. That's all you hear. Usually means it's going to go up,
Right.
despite the chart, despite everything.
Tim Kirk's right. Dave Chappelle is one of the best.
Oh, Dave Chappelle, yeah. Wasn't he controversial or something?
Oh yeah, yeah. He always is. Well, you got to be on the bleeding edge.
What happened with Saturday Night Live? I read something that he was off color.
Yeah, no, it was good actually. It was actually
Some
quite.
of his remarks.
It wasn't that bad.
What were they?
He's done worse on his Netflix specials.
There was something about the Jews in Hollywood, I think, that it offended.
Yeah, well, essentially, he was telling Kanye how to behave.
Yeah, giving a lecture to Kanye, right?
Yeah, that's where the real controversy is.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a comedian.
No.
So he doesn't get that kind of poetic license, does he?
He does because he's an artist.
Oh, okay.
But we all get I'm an artist too, so I should get license.
In any event, the market is confusing. It's painful. It's hurtful.
Did you get back in, or did you do anything about AVXL?
I never got out, unfortunately. I wasn't as smart as Professor Spike.
I just got back in this morning, so I'm about where it is now, close to around where I got
That's
back
excellent. I'm continuing to buy at these levels, so I'm building a position.
This market is like the Knicks is right.
It never should have gone down, but of course you were right. AF came in just as you said.
But not only that, but now a lot of people are speculating that since they have something real, they're going to need to do an offering to get cash positive again.
Remember, Sava did the offering.
Be very generous to everybody else.
Sava did the offering, and it went up tenfold after the offering.
Well, it depends. I guess it depends on the price of the offering. People are thinking it's going to be in the 8s or the 7s, and if it is, then all of us holding the bag will be holding more of the bag. But if the offer is around now at 850,
how about if Bayer comes in and buys them for 5 times what it's selling at?
That would be very nice. I would like that.
Yeah, and so then
I'd almost break even.
Then they don't need to do an offering, right?
Right. Exactly. They have plenty of money. And you're right. Bear is, when was the last time you heard Bear having something at the cutting edge of?
I don't know what made me think of that one, but it could have.
Yeah, well, no, it's not unreasonable because we already know Lilly's got what it's got going. And I think Biogen and Pfizer probably already have their own ideas about what to do based on mRNA.
So I mean, there's a handful of biotech that are very attractive to me. Anavex is one of them. Sava is another one.
Sava did okay today, right?
This little VAXX I started to buy of late. They have a COVID booster that's better than, and it's just as safe as, and a lot cheaper than Pfizer.
Okay. I thought you were going to give us.
And it's not an mRNA.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, now you got my eyes.
It might make you happy.
Right.
You might even consider it. I don't know what it is, though. I don't know what it's based on. It's not a traditional vaccine either, so I'm not sure what it is. But they also have drugs. I don't know if it's the same drug or a similar drug in trials for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's.
So then they're better than VBIV.
Well, I think so. They're ahead of VBIV. VAXX is selling for about $1 or something or other. We'll take a look at that one. And single carb, is that our buddy Heath? I think so. Single cab, not carb, is in Geron. I'm still in. I bought somewhat recently.
Yeah, you went back in despite the fact that they hurt you.
Yeah, despite the fact that they killed me, in fact. I'm still recuperating from Geron loss. Yeah, so why does my mouse always seem to go out in the middle of this show? I got to jiggle the wire.
It's uncanny.
Yeah, I got to
We're
jiggle
gonna
the
we're gonna
wire.
find out that you're not wearing pants.
And then it makes a noise, and it's good again.
Yeah.
I want to chart.
Semi
Nothing.
still has a chance.
It does. It does. I mean, it's 2 cents pre-split. That's the equivalent. It's 10 million market cap. It's worth at least 50. If it's worth anything at all, it's worth probably at least 100. Again, it's a likely buyout candidate. The only trouble is if somebody pays 50 million, they got to clear up their debts and they got to invest more money in manufacturing. So it would cost someone 150.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth it. What's 150 million to Big Pharma?
Nothing.
Yeah, and it's worth it. The thing is, there's so many good, interesting little bios for Big Pharma to choose from. You know, it's hard to say which one they wind up gobbling. What does Tim say?
Yeah, that's a good point. They still every time they reverse split, they still have to worry again.
Yeah, because they go to $5, and then before you know it, they're 50 cents again.
Yeah, I don't even want to know what my effective price is at this point.
It's probably pre-split. It's 2 cents. I told you what it's worth.
Well, back in the old days, I bought it, like around $3.
Back in the old, I mean, you lost everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm down like 97% or something.
And you lost everything. Okay. So I can chart the SPY, right?
Well, we can see it. Yeah, and you still have that Geron. There you go. You still have the Geron request to take care of.
Sure, we'll look at that too. I listed 4 stocks. I don't remember which 4 I listed already.
Yeah,
Buy
not up.
VAXX was a request, but I like it so much that I bought some.
Right. You listed Anavax, Sava, ESALY. I don't know what that is, and VAX.
That's the partner of Biogen.
Oh, okay.
The
Part of
January,
Biogen. Okay.
the January 6th PDUFA will move Biogen 25%, and it'll move Eisai 150%.
Right. That's what happens when you went in to Pfizer's partner, right?
Yeah, but it's like the same thing like Pfizer and BioNTech.
Biotech, right?
So if you look at the chart, we're not yet at the lowest, the lower, what do you call it, trend line of the ascending channel. So that's a good thing. We still have a little room to go, but we bounced off the 100-day, which I like. So the 100 days came in today and proved to be a little bit of support. What was the low of the day? The low of the day was 391.64, and the 100-day is 392.09. So it went below the 100-day briefly, but bounced off of it basically. So what I tweeted today on StockTwits and Twitter was that the SPY is at a critical junction, sitting very near key support levels. And it could either go north or south. If it goes south, I expect it to test this low from 11.3 of 368. So I'll draw that in. I tweeted this out, but I'll be a little redundant anyway.
Right. You said 369.
368 around there, yeah. 369 is what I tweeted. Right there we go, 368 and change.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would expect if it breaks below this bottom trend line, we'll wind up at 368 and probably bounce off of that. On the other hand, if we can get through, if we can get back over to 200 and take out the recent high of 410, I think we go to 431. So that would be up here.
How long? You think following the ascending channel, or
Yeah, following the ascending channel up. So that would bring us to 1, 2.
yeah, okay.
1, 2.
That's the third half of the year that we've been waiting for.
Right. What is 1, 2? Buckle my shoe.
Yep.
And 3, 4 is what? Open the door.
Open the door.
Yeah. All right. So 1, 2, buckle my shoe, and then 3, 4, we open the door.
Right. That's the hope anyway. That
It
by
makes-
3, 4, everything's better again.
It makes some kind of sense, that nursery rhyme, doesn't it?
Yes, March 4th. We should, everything should be a new. It should be a new era.
Yeah. Absolutely makes some kind of sense. So, place your bets, go to the casino. The most of the money right now is on the downward side, I would say, the so-called smart money or whatever you want to call it. But I'm not so sure.
Well, yeah, it depends on. It really does. Unfortunately, it depends too much on the Fed.
Yeah, which also in turn depends on the December 13th CPI number.
Yes, indeed.
You're pretty good at guessing the CPI number. What was it last year? Last month was 7.7.
Yes, it was.
What's your guess for for November?
Because you're taking the volatile gas and food out of it, so you're really mostly talking about services, and services have not really cheapened. So it's not going to be great news. It's going to be about
That 7.7 was the headline number, including everything.
Okay, that number will go down a little bit because of gas.
What do you think it'll go to?
The core should. I think the core is going to stay exactly the same.
What was the core? 5%?
It was it was around that.
So you think the core?
It was modest, but still above the current rate that the Fed is charging.
Right.
So I mean, the Fed is dumb if they're really trying to get at a static at 2%, because I don't even think that's the long-term average. But if they aim for like 3.2, they might do that without getting too nuts, without getting people crazy.
Yeah.
I think all of us, especially since many of us are in debt, I think many of us could afford a 3% inflation going forward.
Yeah. And at the same time, not enjoy like 4% CD.
Right, for the occasions that those are available.
Yeah.
That would be like those people willing to wait long time periods. Back in the usual kind of uninverted markets.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea of trying to find stasis at like 2% is nuts. Seems
Let's see if Kamal found us yet.
Okay.
I'm going to look for Kamal. Yes. Kamal.
Yeah, he's there.
Hey, Kamal, welcome. I didn't forget about you. We just got into a discussion about the spiders and the Fed.
Are you guys having the same headache I'm having?
No, I took
which one of the many? Come on.
I took Bufferin before the show, so.
No, you took Anacin, which is the one that's by Bayer. Oh, you took Bayer.
Bayer is aspirin.
Bayer aspirin.
Isn't it aspirin?
It's Bayer aspirin is what you want, because they're the ones we want to buy out.
Only Americans call it Bayer.
We don't have an Ativex headache.
Professor Spike, Americans call it Bayer.
Bayer, it's true.
Bayer, do we? I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to remember the commercials from when I was a kid.
And the commercial said it the right way, Bayer?
Bayer aspirin. I almost thought it was a bear.
Okay. But I know most Americans read Bayer and they're going to say Bayer.
Who's read it? I got it from the commercial. Commercial says
Got it from the commercial. All right.
yeah, it was that or buffering.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're both right. You're both right. Let's talk stocks and BCRX. BCRX gave me the most headache today.
Oh, BCRX gave you the headache, so you got a BCRX headache.
I lost so much money the last 2 days that I'm numb. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I have like immunity. I took enough injections. I'm immune.
I could have bought a house, another house.
I'm immune. I'm totally immune. Come
A
on.
big house or a DACA?
No, a big house.
But you didn't lose anything because you didn't cash out. So you
No,
lost.
I did not.
It's the same thing as when you were up in the end of 2020. You weren't really up
Right.
because you forgot to cash.
You know that feeling of
I'm
shock
still
and
not up
awe?
from that.
Yeah.
So I gave all that back. But
Well, I always have a nasty habit of forgetting to cash in.
is the limit for loss still at $3,000? Or did the IRS fix that?
I don't know. I think it's still $3,000.
I could do that. I could do that standing on my head.
All right. So, but there's no limit to the gains that you pay taxes on.
Hi, guys.
That's the funny thing. So when we look at the spiders, I could draw in the big descending trend line that everyone is talking about. But I've drawn it in. Actually, drawn it in many times, haven't I?
Yeah, you've drawn it enough times. We don't need to put a kind of horror on it.
But the fact that everybody and their brother keeps talking about this trend line.
So you don't think that the 100-day will hold?
The 100-day might hold.
100-day is the trend line.
No, the 100 it's similar. Yeah.
No, it bounced off of the 100-day moving average today.
No, but the 200 is close to the trend line, Professor.
Oh, that's the 200. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The 200 is very close. Yeah, almost identical. Couple points. The 100, it bounced off the 100 today. Maybe it holds.
Yeah.
And I tweeted out that we're at key levels, meaning the 100 and the test of this ascending trend line. And it'll get, according to my chart, it'll be resolved by 1228, right?
Yep.
Where they cross. Where the downward trend line crosses the upward trend line. That would roughly, I mean, depending on how I draw it.
So by end of year, basically.
Yeah.
So
Depending.
basically writing off the year.
I'm not drawing it precise, roughly at the end of the year. Maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later.
Yeah, it's the third half. Come on, I was saying that before.
Yeah, we've been talking about that all year.
But everybody and their brother, all the gurus, short, sell the market, blah, blah, makes me feel that we'll probably get a rally, just to be contrary.
Yes, although the funny thing is that looks like in terms of the flag, that's a negative flag.
Did we hit 384? When did we hit 384?
Oh, you weren't paying attention?
When I wasn't paying attention. We went that low?
Yeah. That's right. I didn't see that before.
I didn't see it either.
No. You just showed it a little nothing, and now all of a sudden.
I thought it just went slightly below the.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
Wow. So it actually broke the bottom trend
I
line,
broke the plane.
but it held. It didn't. That's okay. In fact, it's a good sign, right? When it goes
Right.
below.
We have a long bottom wick.
Right, when it goes below the support level and then comes roaring back to close way well above it, is a very bullish sign generally. So it's okay that it dipped its toes below and water was not right and it came back. Tomorrow we'll get a better idea, right?
Manana.
Yeah. The
That's
thing
what I
is,
thought yesterday.
by the time we figure it out, it'll be at my next support level, right down here. 370, it's 369.
By your tongue.
Yeah. That's the only trouble with getting confirmation, right? By the time you get the confirmation, it's too late to do anything about it. So I guess the smart shorts are the ones that shorted up here when we're well above 400. But they needed a crystal ball at that point, right? So very difficult market for both.
You want to look at the IWM to see if the broader
Yeah,
market is
sure.
going
But I say this is a very difficult market for bears and bulls. Go figure this.
we know that the spiders will just be depressing, but
Very difficult market.
I mean, that's spiders. I mean, the cues would be depressing. This one might show a little bit.
This one is one of the next to the Nasdaq and the worst performing for the year, right? We did that comparison.
Right, but in terms of what it looks like nowish, it looks like a much more stable. Right, it doesn't look as volatile.
Yeah. So the trend line looks about here. We're right at support and just above the 50. Also an ideal place to stop. Just like
it's nice to see a bounce. It would be nice to see a bounce.
Yeah, this one didn't have much of a bounce. It hit the trend line and stayed there, didn't it? But it didn't break it.
Right.
And it didn't yet test the 50. It might come down to test the 50. Could be. This was my fourth one that I think could go to 5 times what it's selling at now. 95 cents, 5 times would be just under $5. 455 by the end of next year. Why not?
Okay.
This one is the one with the GBM drug, vaccine, whatever they got. Dendritic cells. This is the one that made a big news splash back here, and then Adam Feuerstein came in. Remember the hired gunslinger for about short for hire.
Right.
He came in and killed it. They have a lawsuit going, so they're suing the shorts and maybe Feuerstein as well for manipulating the price of their stock. This one has a higher market cap. I think it's about $1 billion. I'm not sure. But it's
Yeah, no, you guys have been on this for a while.
Yeah, whatever it is, it could.
Before it was a meme stock.
It could certainly be worth $5 billion, assuming it's $1 billion now. This one has a chance to be a star in 2003.
23.
Well, that reminds me,
2020.
The new year is going to be coming soon, and we're going to have to have some comeuppance on our beginning of the year picks.
Oh, come on! I'm scared.
That is going to be a show that everybody should watch because it'll be
90% down on this one, 80%.
Exactly. Down. Well, I did have Target on my list, so Target didn't do too badly.
Right. I don't think I had any winners.
And one of your friends had ExxonMobil, so he's probably doing fine.
I think he had BP.
Yeah. And I was the one who was suggesting
he had BP and CAT.
Right.
Two of them that are up.
So you want to talk a little bit about?
So sometime in January we'll have to have that show.
This one look like this one kind of looks like a cup and handle. Maybe it went down a little too much today. It looks cup and handle-ish. sort of. I think though it has a good chance of filling this gap below. That would put it at 92 cents.
So what happened today that got it so down?
The whole market collapsed.
Oh, all right. I mean, 5% a lot.
Yeah, but it's basically all Biotech got killed. 92 cents, and then it goes back up. We get past this $1.26, and we're probably going to look at the high of the year up here at $2. So this one, I think, is an excellent buy. I think it's essentially de-risked. It had a great article, peer-reviewed article in the Journal of American JAMA Oncology. What is that? Journal of the American Medical Association
Right.
Oncology.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a separate journal. All right.
So that you have to do that partner. You have to do Geron and that partner of Biogen.
I'll say, what's it called? I forgot the symbol.
Oh, let me look.
ELSAY. Is that it?
ESALY
Oh,
is what you wrote.
and that's it.
There you go.
This is going to be in play January 6th.
Oh my God! Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been inching up. It's already $70. I was looking at it. I was looking at it in the 50s, but I didn't buy it. Just mind betted it. If you want to get in, it looks like on a gap fill. If the market shows continued weakness, you might be able to get in at 64.75. If you want the action, I guess it's more than a coin flip. I think it's a big favorite of being passed. And then
You
it
say
should
this is a partner of Biogen in their
partner.
in their brain growing machine.
That's it. On the what's the name of that drug? Lecanemab,
Right?
lecanemab, something like that. The new bleeding drug for Alzheimer's.
Right, exactly.
Not the old bleeding.
Not the old bleeding drug, the new bleeding drug.
The old bleeding, swelling brain drug. That one the Medicare won't fund. So they could have the same problem here, you know.
Well, then let's cross our fingers for Anavex and Sava.
Well, Ionovex and Sava will do good if this thing is approved. Just like
That's not what happened last time, because last time it was sort of like Biogen left everybody in the dust. The only one who survived that was Lilly.
No, I think they all went up for a short while. No,
That's not how I remember it.
do you remember it differently? I don't remember.
Maybe someone from the audience remembers.
It did not. When Biogen got approved, it didn't lift all the AD drugs.
I don't recall that. No.
Yeah, I don't recall it. I don't recall it being setting. I do know when the shit hit the fan, it did hit the fan across the board.
Yeah.
So BCRX is going to do some kind of presentation tomorrow.
Every single AD drug company gets attacked by the shorts, Fluestein and company. They're all scams. Did you know every single AD drug company is a scam? All of them. Maybe they're the same people behind Anovis, Sava, Anavex. Maybe it's a like what do you call it? A cabal.
They're trying to right there. They're just living off the wishful thinking of people who are in real distress.
That's essentially what the shorts are trying to say. Of course, it's nonsense.
So are you thinking that this old ceiling is now a new floor in this picture of yours?
Well, it does look that way, that we're now trading above the ascending trend line. I mean, it's looking very good. Even if it comes back into this ascending channel, it's still going, basic direction is up.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I'm not afraid to buy it on a pullback to $66. You might get that
Yeah.
if we have
That's
continued.
your old adage of selling of buying high and selling higher.
Of course, there is a chance the FDA will come to its senses, shock the world, and turn them down.
Unless there's some real there this time. Who knows?
The thing is, they had a big. You alerted me to the Channel 4 special
Yes.
on Biogen's drug, and there was a guy there with unfortunate enough to have early Alzheimer's, and
Yeah,
he said he was willing to roll the dice on the brain bleed and all
exactly.
because he didn't have the luxury of time.
And that was the other proviso, was that most of these drugs were performing very, very well when it was caught early. And
Right,
even early onset Alzheimer's is caught late, because who's going to examine a 50-year-old?
right.
So, I mean, it's a big if to say, oh, well, unless you could take it prophylactically, like when you turn 60, you just start taking these things like a vitamin, which is too expensive. But
And probably not. Probably the risk reward is
yeah,
not.
and probably not right. I'm sure the AMA would not approve of that approach, even if the stuff was free,
Yeah,
and certainly not at this expense.
no.
Just take it just in case, huh?
You know, would you?
No,
You know,
I'm
I'd,
not.
I'd have to have like a severe family history and at least one genetic test telling me I'm predisposed before I behave that way.
Now, Anavex came way off its $15 high from wherever it was, and its more recent high, based on the news of the data readout, 1323, its recent high, way down to form what hopefully is a double bottom today. So let's throw in, if it stops exactly where it is and starts going up, we'll have a beautiful double bottom. And it's okay if it goes a little below the old low, that's fine too. But it essentially has to stop going down and start going up. So in the near term, I think this is a critical moment. In the long term, it doesn't mean anything, because in the long run, I think this one will gain favor over the Biogen drug. Biogen is itself not a very nice company. It has a terrible history. What were they doing? Paying off doctors to use their drugs, and they had to pay 900 million
Yeah.
fine, something like that. So they don't have a great history. They have a CEO, I think, that bolted, right?
They're certainly
They're
a
not,
lot more checkered than these unknowns like Sava and Anavex and Anaovis.
yeah, I mean, Biogen, I guess you can call it middle pharma. They're not really big pharma.
Right. And they were still, I mean, years ago, they were the flash in the pan.
Yeah,
Back in the, was it the late 80s or something?
yeah.
Because it was like, you had your stalwarts, like you said, like Bayer and Merck, and then Biogen was an upstart.
Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they could quickly lose some of their upstart status if this drug doesn't make it. They got a lot counting on this drug.
Yeah.
Lots on this drug. A lot. Anavex, of course, has everything riding on it. Biogen has a lot. This one has everything riding on it. So The data verified by independent statisticians looked stellar. It looked at least as good as a Biogen drug, if not better, with a much better safety profile. So I think this has got that one beat. I don't know how it compares to the Sava drug, very close. I'm not sure which is better. Probably the Sava is a little stronger.
Wasn't this one the third? Wasn't a Novus further along than this guy also?
Novus is in Parkinson's further along. This guy has a Parkinson's phase 2. They're in a Parkinson's phase 3.
A Novus doesn't have Alzheimer's.
They do, but they stopped after phase 2. They didn't have enough money to do a phase 3. They got approval from the FDA to do it, but they're not doing it. At least not yet. I guess it's money. How many phase
Well,
3s?
and there's some potential just lying on the ground for somebody also.
That's true. I mean, how many phase 3s can you do at the same time if you're a little two-person company?
Well, yeah, that's the problem. That's what people are worried about with this one. If they don't get bought out, they're going to have to make an offering just to have enough money. Or like you said, maybe they're going to have to leave everything on the floor also.
Too risky.
This one, certainly from the chart, you can see it's full of risk, but you also have a chance to make $40 sometime this year.
Yeah.
This year in 2022?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, at least, if not 40, at least back in the high.
it's not going to go to zero. I figure the low of the year will hold, or should hold.
Right.
This low from May should hold 713. So at this point, it's, I think, very de-risked. You have $1 on the downside, and you have for $32 on the upside for next year.
Do you want to do Geron before we go?
Sure. Sorry,
And
Get
BCRX.
And then
Sorry,
right,
I didn't get around to some of the others. I want to do Vax also.
This is not Geron. I don't know what this is.
I don't know what it is either.
Carbon. There you go.
Geron's in a nice little ascending channel. It's oscillating within it.
Single Cap says that there's some good news coming in January for this one.
Looks good. I mean, it's sitting at the 100 or crossed the 100 one way or the other. I'm not sure. Looks good. Looks very good. I don't need this 20-day thing. It's just confusing me.
Oh, the 20, yeah, nowadays.
Is this a negative cross of the 50 with the 100? Yeah. Looks
It
that way.
is.
Don't love that. Short term, we might have a little weakness, but as long as we stay in this ascending channel, the direction is clearly up. If we break below that, we can get a pullback. If you get a pullback, it probably pulls back to this low from November at $1.96. So your downside is probably $1.96. Upside, I guess you got a lot on the upside. Market cap is about 900 million, I think, something like that. So you have this could go to 5 billion on a good oncology drug. Why not? They have two indications, right? MDS and MF. Myelofibrosis and what's MDS stand for? I don't know. Another blood cancer. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to hold this one if you're in it. And if you want to go into it, there's no reason not to go into it. It looks fine right now. It doesn't look like it's falling apart like so many others. And it could be a 5-bagger for next year. $10 is doable.
Wow.
So this is on my radar. I want to do Vax there was a request before we go.
Okay. Wow, that's the VXX, right? And then Kamal wanted to see BCRX.
Well, this one we talked about before
We got a
we,
lot of lines there, Dr. J. It's hard to see anything.
I'll get rid of all lines. All right, now you can see
Yeah, look at that. It's looking a lot like Biogen looked.
it's Geron.
Or
What
Geron.
happened to my
But it's-
Vax?
I'm saying Geron looked like Geron.
Yeah, what happened to Vax?
There we go. Okay. Oh boy.
There was news of the phase 3 readout for the COVID vaccine, booster vaccine. That news came on well, that big move to 395. We're now cut in half. I just bought some at $1.90 today. Look at the bounce off of the 50. Beautiful bounce off of the 50. I just think this one
Myelodysplastic syndrome. Thank you, Joe.
looks very tempting on fundamentals. Very low market cap. It's under 100 million, I think. It's low. I'm not sure exactly, but it's worth owning based on their pipeline and based on this COVID vaccine. I think there's a big world out there to sell it to, including the Chinese, who have to get something better than their vaccine that doesn't work. So
That's true.
yeah,
Oh, they could always get Johnson and Johnson's vaccine.
yeah.
They don't want to do the mRNA.
Well, I think this one's going to be sold cheap. They're talking about democratizing the vaccine. To me, that sounds like they're going to sell it cheap.
That sounds like a real moneymaker.
Actually, it could be. I like this
Whenever
one.
I hear the
like
word
this one.
democratizing, I hit the sell button.
Oh, I got you. Well, you can't sell it. You don't own it.
Yeah, right.
Short it.
All right, so we're going to stop now. Sava was my fourth one. We all know Sava. Sava might even be the best of the four of them for a possible 5-timer.
Well, I would say Lilly, but Lilly's already like it's up 35% since January. We talk about bucking the trend.
yeah, Lilly is not going to go up 5 times, but you might get another 35%.
You might be able to get a couple more, but it's almost feels like it's sailed.
You can squeeze a little more juice out of Lilly. All right, so indubitably joined us. Chucky joined us, single car cab, and Linus and Tim. Good to see everybody today. We'll try to come back on Thursday. We will make our best efforts.
Yep.
See you all. Have a great trading tomorrow.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye, everybody.